Good morning. Welcome to 9 a.m. on this Tuesday. I'm Roxy Carpadian.
And I'm Sandra Endo. Thanks for joining us. Let's take a look at today's headlines.
In a show force against the anti-ICE protests, President Trump sends more National Guard troops on top of a new call to deploy hundreds of Marines. How this decision is sparking outrage from state and city officials.
Plus, local businesses damaged and looted amid the continuing protests. How store owners are getting caught in the fire of immigration policy.
And labor union leader David Huerta is released from custody. The message he has for those afraid of demonstrating against ICE. First, though, it was another explosive night in Southern California as protests continue over immigration raids. Police and crowds faced off in Los Angeles and Orange County. And this morning, law enforcement is gearing up for a fifth day of unrest. So here's a look at the latest developments. A number of businesses in the downtown area were looted. Following a fourth night of protests, this comes as President Trump is mobilizing an additional 2,000 National Guard members to help protect federal buildings in Los Angeles. That move actually doubles his initial deployment. Also, the U.S. military has confirmed that 700 Marines have arrived in Los Angeles. They will provide support for National Guard troops that are already here. The Marines are from an infantry battalion based in 29 Palms.
And we're getting new information into the newsroom. The Pentagon revealing that the deployment of troops thus far cost around $134 million. This number was only provided after persistent questioning from Congress. Those funds will reportedly come out of the Department of Defense's operation and maintenance accounts. And some downtown LA businesses and the owners are beside themselves this morning after looters and vandals ransacked their stores during the overnight ICE raids.
Gigi Graciette is showing us some of the extensive damage caused by the thieves. Gigi.
Good morning, Roxy and Sandra. We've been at least, 5, 6 locations this morning, from big businesses to small family-owned businesses. Take a look. We're on the corner of 9th and Main. This is a store called Shoe Palace 93. And as you can see, it was hit early this morning. The windows broken out. Even this metal gate apparently wasn't enough to keep looters out. Photographer Carlos Jacinto behind the lens there giving you a look. And over here, we've got a box with hangers. You've got empty shoe boxes that were just left behind in the street. And this is similar to what we've seen at several of the businesses as looters hit here. And take a look at this. One of these store owners actually let us in today. You're looking at exclusive video of a jewelry mart that was hit early this morning, looted, destroyed, display cases smashed. One of those display cases, I'm told, had nothing in it. Everything was put away in the safe. So it was smashed really for no good reason other than to leave behind a trail of destruction that some small business owner now will have to foot the bill for. And take a look. We talked about big business. We talked about small businesses. The Adidas store also hit, kitty corner to the Apple store. Both of them had their doors smashed in, their windows cracked, graffiti on the inside of both of the stores, even a blood trail because apparently somebody who smashed a window to get into one of those stores hurt themselves and left their blood behind. Then there were multiple jewelry businesses. At one jewelry business this morning between 1 and 2 a.m., police received a report of up to 100 looters inside that business. And then there's the inside of Shoe Palace 93. Take a look at that. Also part of the many businesses that were hit overnight. And if businesses weren't looted or vandalized, they had graffiti spray painted all over them. We just drove by and there are city crews painting walls. Even the Cathedral of Our Lady of Angels had graffiti all over the exterior walls. So law enforcement sources telling us they don't believe that the looters are actually part of the legitimate protesters who simply want to exercise their right to free speech, their right to protest. You've got a splinter group that is leaving behind this trail of destruction. And again, many small business owners, and one of the jewelry owners I spoke to this morning, a family man who's been there since 1987, told me he has no insurance to cover the loss. Reporting live this morning in downtown LA, I'm Gigi Graciette. I'll send it back to you.
Terrible, terrible. What a mess. What a mess. All right, Gigi, Thank you for showing us those images. President Trump's decision to send in the Marines and more National Guard troops is facing some strong criticism from LA leaders.
Mario Ramirez is live at the Federal Detention Center in downtown LA with the very latest there. Good morning, Mario.
Sandra, Roxy, good morning. They haven't been called to respond, but we can confirm that hundreds of U.S. Marines are now in the city of Los Angeles. They're set to join National Guard troops following another day of unrest. Now, take a look. You can see it here behind me. We're just outside the Federal Detention Center downtown where those National Guard members are stationed this morning, and we've seen at least half a dozen securing the detention center where ICE detainees have reportedly been held. No sign of demonstrations here, but as tensions continue rising, take a look. About 700 U.S. Marines from the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marine Regiment out of 29 Palms received orders over the weekend, and they're now confirmed to be in the city. Officials say these military personnel won't be on the front lines, but instead they'll focus on crowd control and de-escalation. A statement from the U.S. Northern Command confirming the Marines will support the more than 2,000 National Guard troops that have already been activated across the region. And it was late Monday. The Pentagon announced it's mobilizing an additional 2,000 National Guard troops under President Trump's orders, bringing the total military personnel to nearly 5,000. Meanwhile, the LAPD over the weekend received mutual aid from several neighboring law enforcement agencies, but Police Chief Jim McDonnell says deployment of these troops ordered by the president only creates challenges for the department's response.
The introduction of federal military personnel without direct coordination creates logistical challenges and risks confusion during critical incidents. The Los Angeles Police Department, alongside our mutual aid partners, have decades of experience managing large-scale public demonstrations, and we remain confident in our ability to be able to do so professionally and effectively.
Yeah, it's getting ugly out here.
And it was another long day and night that saw protesters and law enforcement filling the streets with some groups of people throwing rocks and fireworks at authorities before they fired back with tear gas and rubber bullets. And that overnight activity once again led to arrests, looting, and vandalism. Back out here live at the Federal Detention Center on Alameda Street with the National Guard here behind me. It's not clear exactly where they'll be stationed, but as far as the U.S. Marines go, again, they have arrived here in the city. So we'll see how that plays out. For now, live downtown, I'm Mario Ramirez. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Mario, thank you for being there and giving us that update. On to this now. Labor Union leader David Huerta is out on bond after his arrest during immigration raids in the downtown LA Garment District. The president of SEIU California has been held in detention since Friday when he was arrested while protesting the raid. Huerta was freed after paying a $50,000 bond and urged supporters to keep up the fight against ICE.
They cannot come out of their cells. Not even to eat, they cannot come out.
Who's they?
The detainees. They cannot come out. So while this is happening, they cannot come out. There's also the risk, they also cannot see their lawyers. We will have our time for justice, but we must do it in a way that we demonstrate the power of working people across this country and stand united against.
Huerta faces charges of conspiracy to impede an officer and was ordered to remain 100 yards away from federal agencies or agents and operations. His arraignment is July 7th. Throughout the morning, of course, we'll continue to monitor this story as it develops. For the latest information on the anti-ICE protests and the response from our local, state, and federal governments, head to foxla.com.
All right, 9:09. Maria is back after a couple days off.
Just one day, just yesterday.
Friday. Didn't you have Friday off?
I was here Friday.
Oh, I was off.
It's great. It's great to be missed. I know when I'm off one day, people are like, you're off. It's so long.
All the time.
All the time. So long you were off. It's just one day, not a week. But hey, that feels good. Thank you for missing me. 3-mile visibility right now in Burbank. We do have some clouds that have extended all the way inland. This is the onshore flow and the June gloom, producing even some light misting or drizzle, depending on where you are. But those clouds, good for us, right? It adds moisture in the atmosphere and helps to keep lower, at least, the fire danger. Definitely seeing some of those breezes, especially up towards the mountains and deserts in the afternoon. Temperatures are going to be a little warmer today than yesterday as those clouds clear later this afternoon. To the coast, we'll get those 80s and 90s, 98 in Lancaster to 96 in San Bernardino, 105 in Palm Desert. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Maria. So happening today, registered nurses looking at UC medical centers will hold rallies across the state. The rallies will go from 11 this morning until 1 in the afternoon. The nurses marking the start of a contract negotiations. The union says it wants to halt the practice of short-staffing UC medical centers and forcing nurses to do more with less support. UC did not issue a statement on today's rallies or negotiations.
The Newport Beach City Council is set to approve its police budget at a meeting today. The total cost is estimated to be $19.3 million over 3 years. It includes things like annual 4% raises for sworn and unsworn officers, holiday time, cafeteria allowances, and retirement contributions to CalPERS. The spokesperson for the city told LA Times that the contract ensures that officers are supported and valued and reinforces Newport Beach's commitment to public safety.
9/11 still to come. Amanda's got entertainment headlines after the break, including the big winners from the BET Awards. First, though, we got to check on the roads out there.
By the way, you were off on Friday.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, okay. All right, that's why. Good Day LA Traffic is brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group Accident and Injury Attorneys. Here's a look outside. Well, you did see really quickly. Real-time traffic map here showing you some incidents on the board. And here is one of our live traffic cameras. This is the southbound 5 at Meadowdale. Not too bad, right? Moving, at least on both sides of this 5 freeway. Here are some drive times coming out of downtown LA toward the west side, towards Santa Monica between the 5 to the 405. It's kind of slow, 49 minutes. A little faster on the North 110 between the 405 to the 10, 21 minutes. And here's a look at some of the other traffic hotspots.
Downtown LA Law Group, California's top injury law firm, can get you paid. We handle slip and falls, accidents, and many other injury cases. Text Injury Help to 40222 or visit us online at calldowntown.com.
Hi, ladies.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
You and I sitting next to each other is like a gender reveal.
I know. Who wants,
I was thinking
who wants to
Easter.
book us?
Who wants to? Right, well, you know what? That's right. A&A gender reveals. We will come and tell you if it's a boy or a girl. It's a Sandra for today. For today, it's a Sandy. Good morning to you. Entertainment is sponsored by Yamava Resort Casino. Hey, last night, I know there's been a lot in the news, but last night was also the 2025 BET Awards, and this is significant because this is the 25th anniversary of the BET Awards. It was held right here in LA, and Compton native Kendrick Lamar,
Mustard.
Thank you, was the top winner, taking home the award for Album of the Year. And, you know, Kevin Hart had to have some fun at the Singers. This is really funny. I cannot wait to see this movie. So anything that Eddie Murphy is in, I'm like, sign me up, okay? But now you mix Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson together. I would not have paired those two together.
Neither would I.
But you know what? Here we are. Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson are teaming up in a new action comedy. It's set to drop on Prime Video later this summer. Take a look.
Hey, yo, you seeing this? Pull over and you won't get hurt. We're gonna die. Calm down. Remember your training. Put your hands up! I took a 15-hour online course. What training?
Oh, it's called The Pickup. The director, Ride Along, dives back into the buddy action comedy pool with Eddie and Pete playing armored car drivers who end up ambushed by thieves.
It's actually really funny.
It's actually a really good premise. Keke Palmer, Eva Longoria, and Marshawn Lynch also star in The Pickup. It drops on Prime August 6th. Speaking of Prime, I just interviewed...
Wait, I'm like trying to figure out the trailer.
I just interviewed Nick Mohammed, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Orlando Bloom, who are in Deep Cover. It's coming out this week on Prime Video. Are you ready for this premise?
Yes.
There are 3 improv artists who go undercover in the crime underworld.
Oh,
that's a good one, too.
So
that'd be funny.
You have to say yes and, you know. So I talked to them. We're going to have those interviews this week.
there are other ideas out there. We don't need to keep doing remakes.
That's
sequels.
right.
Yeah.
And reimagining.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Ladies, does your hubbies have a filter, or do they just say whatever's on their mind?
You know.
Yeah.
There's no filter.
There's no filter. But with you either, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we work.
That's why you guys work. You're just the real deal. Filter?
He's more diplomatic. Yeah.
If you asked him, how do I look in this dress? And
He'll say something nice.
always?
Pretty much.
Mine won't.
Yours won't. Well, one man is publicly apologizing to his girlfriend for all the unintentional insults he made at her. Let's see if you would take offense to any of these.
After she hit a PR on bench press at the gym, I said, "Dang, you're looking big." That's only a compliment to men.
You can't say big.
I told her, "You look pretty today." She looks pretty every day,
Yeah.
so my bad. One time we were at In-N-Out and she finished her food before me, and I said, "Where are you putting all that?" I was genuinely curious, but that one didn't go over well. My fault, my fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where are you putting all that? That is not good.
Come on,
Excuse
right?
me?
People in the comments section kept teasing the couple for his accidental insults. One person saying, "Oh, so he hates you." What is something that your husbands have been guilty of saying that you're like, you can't say that? Like, that's not...
To us
Yeah,
or to other
who you think
people?
Wow. All right. I didn't want to go there. Let's just open the floodgates.
Well, when you ask me if my husband always compliments me, like if I come out in an outfit, you know, and I say, how do I look? Do you like this? He'll say, nicely, if you like it.
Oh,
but that's a backwards insult, right?
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking
I
about
love it if you love it.
Right. Right. Sometimes I get tired of always hearing, "You look cute." Am I an Easter bunny? You know, like sometimes
You are an Easter bunny.
I'm like just a human. Sometimes I'm like, I want to look banging. I want to look hot. I want to look fire.
That would be weird if he said that.
True.
And did that.
Right. I want to just say this. We have a producer here. It's a man, and he refers to curly hair as frizzy. He doesn't know the difference, and he'll go, she's got like frizzy hair. I'm like, that's
no.
curly.
Yeah.
They're not the same thing.
Mm-mm. We don't like frizz. All right, that's not a compliment.
You know who it is. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Can you see him saying that?
Yeah.
And welcome back to you. I'm meteorologist Maria Quaban. Good Day LA is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casinos. This is what's going on. This is a view from space right now. Yeah, Big H is here. A big area of high pressure to our east over the Four Corners. We have a trough of lower pressure offshore over the Pacific, and we're kind of sandwiched in between, basically getting the best of both worlds. We've got some heat and sunshine and warmer temperatures inland, with coastal areas kind of socked in with the June gloom, cloud cover, and the marine layer. It'll eventually clear out for some of the coastal communities, maybe Orange County a little bit more, but LA County up into Ventura and Santa Barbara, just a little more cloudy, partly cloudy. Subtle changes, really, nothing major as we get through this week. In fact, high pressure will strengthen as we get to the upcoming holiday weekend. It is a holiday. We've got Father's Day coming up on Sunday, and it is going to warm up noticeably so as we get to Saturday, Sunday, Monday of next week. Our rain total so far this month, 4/100th of an inch of rain. Impressive considering for the month on average, just 9/100th. It is the third driest month of the year behind August and July. We still have a deficit, though, almost 6 inches below average, and I don't foresee any storms coming in, at least not the next week anyway. 66 in Burbank currently as we get to 2 p.m., 83, 104 in Palm Springs. I'll send it back to you.
All right, with summer travel season ramping up, and if you're looking to save money on flights, here's a deal for you. There's a hack. It's called Skiplagging. That's getting a ton of attention, but there are some downsides. So let me tell you how it works first.
Skiplagging is when a passenger books a flight with a layover, but intentionally gets off at the layover city instead of continuing to the final destination.
Okay.
And that is because the layover city is usually cheaper to fly to when booked as part of a longer route.
Okay.
Okay, does it make sense? For example, flying from New York to California with a stop in Texas might be cheaper than flying straight to Texas. So what you do is you just get off in Texas. You skip the rest of your trip. It's a unique way to save money, but airlines hate it. In fact, they've banned people who do it often and might even cancel your flight. This only works, obviously, if you have a carry-on. It's not going to work if you check your bag in because your bag's going bye-bye.
And it's only good for a one-way, clearly, because if you have a round trip, you're getting on in different areas. So, yeah, you got to think about that.
Right.
Because the round trip would be if it's from LA to New York, you're getting off in Texas. How do you get back? You got to book another one way.
It's also cheaper to do one ways anyway.
Right.
Although I remember in the past, I don't know if this is the case, they would flag you when you would do one ways.
Do one ways.
They thought it was suspicious, and I'm thinking back to Around 9/11.
Oh,
that's when
right.
I remember that would happen often, where you would do that and they would pull you aside. It became a thing, and I think that's why it was.
Yeah, insecurity.
All right, 9:26 still to come. It is National Egg Roll Day. Coco's showing us how it's done right after the break. Good morning and welcome to 9:30 on this Tuesday morning. I'm Roxy Carpadian.
And I'm Sandra Endo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. The anti-ICE protests across Los Angeles entered day 5 with no sign of rest. We have team coverage from downtown LA to Santa Ana.
Plus, California lawmakers hold a press conference against the deployment of troops in LA. Why Representative Nancy Pelosi is drawing a comparison to the January 6th Capitol riots.
Our top story, California is suing the Trump administration over the deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles. Trump ordered 2,000 National Guard members to LA for 60 days under federal law. The first troops arrived Sunday, and late last night, the military says it is mobilizing another 2,000 members of the California National Guard. Governor Gavin Newsom says activating the National Guard without consulting him is illegal and immoral. Attorney General Rob Bonta says local law enforcement had the protests under control.
Trump and Hegseth jumped from 0 to 60, bypassing law enforcement expertise and evaluation. They threw caution to the wind and sidelined strategy in an unnecessary and inflammatory escalation that only further spurred unrest.
The lawsuit accuses the president of exceeding his authority and asks the court to declare his actions as unlawful.
Several California lawmakers held a news conference in Washington this morning to discuss the federal response to the anti-ICE protests. Representative Nancy Pelosi asked, why is President Trump mobilizing troops for this situation when he didn't do so on January 6th?
That day, he didn't do it. He forgave those people. Now his people want to raise money for them, and yet, in a contra-constitutional way, he has sent the National Guard into California.
This morning, President Trump posted a new message on Truth Social saying, if I didn't send in the troops to Los Angeles the last 3 nights, that once beautiful and great city would be burning to the ground right now.
LA Mayor Karen Bass also had some strong words for the Trump administration, which has also deployed 700 Marines to Los Angeles to protect federal property and personnel. She says the show of force is a deliberate attempt to create disorder and chaos.
We didn't need the National Guard. Why on earth? What are they going to do? Do you know what the National Guard is doing now? They are guarding 2 buildings. They're guarding the federal building here in downtown, and they're guarding the federal building in Westwood. That's what they're doing. So they need Marines on top of it? I don't understand that. That's why I feel like we are part of an experiment that we did not ask to be a part of.
The troops are being deployed as local police face another busy night on the streets of Los Angeles.
Mario Ramirez continues our team coverage. He is live at the Federal Detention Center in downtown LA with the very latest. Hi there, Mario.
Good morning. As local law enforcement is bracing for another day of demonstrations and possible violent activity, we can tell you that the military presence and military force across the city will be increasing today, especially around federal buildings. You can see some of it there. We're just outside the Federal Detention Center on Alameda Street, where armed National Guard troops have been stationed all morning with armored vehicles. Officials say their main focus is protecting federal buildings like the detention center. Meanwhile, as tensions continue to rise, take a look at some of the activity we saw early this morning.
They're breaking into CVS.
I already lost half my net worth. I don't want to lose the other half.
Now I know where to go. Pop, pop, you know? Bro, I got hit. It hurt a lot.
This was around 2 a.m. We watched as LAPD officers took at least 4 people into custody considered armed and dangerous, according to officers on the scene. Monday's demonstrations carrying into the night and early morning hours, with groups of agitators breaking away and sparking more vandalism, violence, and arrests. Several stores, including a CVS and 2 jewelry stores, were looted. And despite the unruly crowds, as we just heard, LA Mayor Karen Bass said federal reinforcements were not needed. But now, in addition to the thousands of National Guard troops, 700 U.S. Marines Marines are in the city. They arrived a short time ago, trained for crowd control with shields and batons as their equipment. They've also been ordered to protect federal property and personnel, similar to the National Guard. Now, coming back out here live, officials say those Marines will not have the authority to arrest civilians, and it's not clear exactly where they'll be stationed. For now, that's the latest in downtown LA. I'm Mario Ramirez. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Mario, we'll see what happens there. Thank you for that update. Hundreds protested in Orange County yesterday following a day of ICE raids in the city of Santa Ana.
Let's go to Brooke live right now with more on what happened there. Hi, Brooke.
Hey there. Yeah, we are actually outside here getting ready for a press conference that's going to be led by U.S. Congressman Lou Correa, who, according to his staff, actually left D.C. immediately once he heard about the Santa Ana ICE raids, and he flew home to Orange County. Those raids also triggered protests, of course, here in Santa Ana. You just mentioned those ended just before midnight, hours after police declared an unlawful assembly. The protests were triggered by a number of ICE raids here in Santa Ana yesterday, especially one at Home Depot. Just coming back out here live, once again, want to let you know this press conference is set to start soon. We're going to bring you that as soon as we can. Congressman Correa and some other state and local elected officials are expected to condemn the ICE raids and also talk about President Trump's use of the military. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Brooke, we will be waiting for that. Thank you. And throughout the morning, I want to remind all of you, we will continue to monitor the story as it develops for the latest information on the ICE raid and the protests and the response from our local, state, and federal governments. All you have to do is head to foxla.com.
In international news right now, a school shooting in Austria has left at least 9 people and the suspected gunman dead. At least 12 people were wounded before the suspect took his own life. This happening today at Graz, which is a little over 100 miles southwest of Vienna. Authorities say the suspect was a 21-year-old former student of the high school. He had 2 guns, which were apparently owned legally. Police said they did not have any information on the man's motive. Austria has declared 3 days of national mourning.
Back here locally, a former Orange County supervisor who pleaded guilty to bribery has been sentenced to prison. Andrew Doe will serve 5 years behind bars in federal prison. In a plea agreement, he did admit that in exchange for more than $500,000 in bribes, he would cast votes on the board of supervisors that directed more than $10 million in COVID relief funds to the Viet American Society, where his daughter works. So Doe did receive that maximum sentence of 5 years under the plea deal.
Today is the last day to vote in a special election happening in Orange County. There are 3 items to vote on. First up, Newport Mesa Unified Governing Board trustee race between Andrea McElroy and Kristen Walsh. Huntington Beach residents will vote on Measure A, which would eliminate the Community Parent Review Board. It's responsible for making sure children's library materials do not contain sexual content. Huntington Beach residents will also vote on Measure B. It would prohibit the city from contracting with private entities in the operation of city libraries. Polls close at 8 o'clock this evening.
Foodies rejoice. Today's a big day for you.
Coco McAvoy's live in Beverly Hills with more on National Egg Roll Day. Hi there, Coco.
Hey there, we are celebrating National Egg Roll Day here with Catherine Ahn and also our chef lovingly known as Mama. So Catherine, if you can talk about the egg roll that we're showing here.
Yeah, so today we're serving our Tieto egg roll. It's our version of egg roll actually made with rice paper. It's served with these beautiful Tieto leaves, and that's actually what I named the restaurant after in Santa Monica. My mom loves using it and is very popular in Vietnamese cuisine.
Because for me, the Tieto is very good for health. And when you eat too much fried, you get heartburn. So Tieto calm down you and help you for heartburn.
So it's very good for your digestion as well.
Yes, we love that. And you're going to be rolling with your mom, and you were telling me that this is something that you used to do as a kid too.
Yeah, we did a lot together. I might be a little rusty today, but you know, during Lunar New Year, as a family, we'd all come together and make it. It represents health and abundance. So it's just a fun family activity that we would do. Yes.
Well, I'll let you all get to rolling. And while you're rolling, I wanted to ask you if you can talk about the sauces too.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, traditional egg roll often pairs with soy sauce. Here at Tieto, we actually pair it with garlic lime sauce as well as a peanut garlic lime sauce. Yeah, it's very nice, very light. And as well as you know, you can eat it, the egg roll fresh with the tiertola leaves, and you can wrap it with butter lettuce, or at our restaurant it's also accompanied with a rice noodle salad.
Okay, we love that. And if you can talk about, on top of the tiato, what other ingredients we see here too?
Yeah. So inside of the egg roll is glass noodles, shiitake mushrooms, and carrots, and cabbage. So hence it represents after winter.
And mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms.
Shiitake mushrooms. Thank you, Mama. But yeah, it represents a lot of fresh vegetables that comes during springtime. Hence, originally, you know, the original egg roll actually came from spring roll.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you so much, Mama, as well.
So
look how beautiful that
everybody
looks. Yes.
The fresh.
Catch up with Mama.
Yes. But you have got to come to Crustacean in Beverly Hills to really try all of these delicious egg rolls. They actually have a brand new pop-up that's opening today called Little C. I'll send it back to you.
All right. Well, we appreciate the egg
Thank
rolls.
you.
Look at this.
I
We have some
know.
in studio. It's a gorgeous presentation with flowers, vermicelli noodles. Oh, so delicious. Yeah?
Was I not supposed to eat?
No, eat away.
Okay.
We're going to be eating all morning long. Thank you so much, Coco. Speaking of eating, Tasty Tuesdays today, and we're going to start your morning off right with Uncle Stevie's Bagels. They are here, and they're going to be showing us how they serve up East Coast style bagels right here in Los Angeles. Yum.
Welcome back to you. I'm meteorologist Maria Quaban. We've got some very pleasant weather conditions right now. We've got the June gloom. This weather pattern will stay with us at least this week and even into this upcoming weekend, with the clouds retreating in the afternoon, giving us plenty of sunshine, with the exception of some of our coastal communities where they will stay socked in. The clouds will return tonight into tomorrow morning once again, and similar conditions into Friday. I think Saturday and Sunday, though, we'll see a little bit less of that cloud cover, so that will mean some slightly warmer temperatures just in time for Father's Day on Sunday. If you're headed to the beach today, we do have a mix of south and west swells, 2 to 4 feet for Ventura County, LA beaches. Similar conditions in Orange County and San Diego. The temperatures in the water refreshing in the upper 60s, and those temperatures on the sand in the low 70s. In fact, the coastal communities are going to keep it the same, I think, through the end of the week, and then it'll bump up just in time for Father's Day, 77, 81 today for downtown LA, 85 on Sunday. We'll get to those low 90s eventually this weekend for the valleys and the Inland Empire. The mountains have been warm, 83 today in Big Bear, 102 in the high desert to that 109 in Palm Springs, 113 though, very hot on Father's Day Sunday. What would you wear on a day like this? Maybe you haven't gone outside. Brooke's got an idea for you. Let's see. Oh, bright yellow. I love it, Brooke. Yeah, just an idea. Maybe pull out that dress. Amanda, back to you.
Maria, thank you. I hope we are all hungry. I am. And I've got a good setup for you. Uncle Stevie's Bagels in El Segundo has been featured as one of the best bagel shops in Los Angeles by the LA Times, coming through on their goal to serve East Coast style bagels right here on the West Coast. So let's bring in Tom and Tiffany. Levy, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having us today.
It smells amazing. Listen, I was born on the East Coast, but raised on the West Coast.
Okay.
So this is the best of both worlds,
Right.
like your bagels, right? What are your most popular bagels here at Uncle Stevie's Bagels?
So the most popular specialty is over here. It's the cheddar hot honey. So most bagel shops do a cheddar jalapeno, and we wanted to do something a little different. So we did cheddar hot honey.
I love that.
That we've had since the beginning. It's an everyday bagel. It's probably the most popular of the specialty. And then either just the classic plain, which is right in the middle here, or the everything, our everything.
Is everything?
It's, well, we
more
don't,
than everything.
we don't
It's
use,
more than everything.
We don't use onion or garlic dehydrated because we don't like how it burns on a bagel.
Okay.
So
There's a
we put a little
science.
fennel. It's a little different. We
Yeah.
put a little fennel seed instead. But everybody asked for onion and garlic. So what we do is we roast the onion and the garlic in olive oil for about 2 hours. Gets roasted down and caramelized, and we make the garlic onion bagel, which is in the middle right here.
Oh, that looks so good. I'll be having one of those, please.
We
Yes.
have plenty for you today. We do a rosemary olive oil, which is the one next to the garlic onion. We have classic sesame.
Can't go wrong.
Today we did a chocolate chip bagel.
Yum.
So it's one of our specialty bagels, the black and white, which is just sesame seeds. But
That's
black
so,
sesame.
it reminds me of the cookies.
It's a play on
black
a
and white
cookie.
I love
Once in a while,
that.
we actually make a black and white cookie, but not every day. And then we did a blueberry today, which is on the other side of the black and white.
I love this so much. And also the different kinds of cream cheese. I know you have strawberry, and then there's the herb.
So it's a green herb. It's like 5 herbs.
Love it.
We do that. We started it for a St. Patrick's Day last year, and people kept asking for it, so we just kept doing it.
El Segundo, baby. You guys are South Bay Gulls.
South Bay.
There you go.
Yes.
Nice play on words.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think you guys are so nice. I have not had breakfast yet today.
That's what they told us.
Yeah.
So your classic bacon, egg, and cheese on the plane.
Oh, classic and never goes out of style. I got to bring in my South Bays.
All right, come on in.
Hi.
Come on in.
I went
Cheers.
to
Come on over
NYU
here.
and lived in New York
All right.
for so long, so it's so hard to find a good New York or East Coast bagel here in LA.
Right.
You
So
will be
it's
disappointed.
amazing.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
so good.
Have us.
Okay, what would you suggest? Which one should
You
I
like
bite
avocado?
into? Sure.
It's messy. You want to get messy?
Let's get messy.
This is what we call the Marion. It's our own avocado spread we make in-house, like everything else. It's topped with crumbled hard-boiled egg, a little olive oil and salt, and it's on a rosemary olive oil bagel. It's a little messy, but it's quite tasty.
Roasted mushroom Gruyere.
Oh, delicious.
It's good.
my gosh.
You guys
The
have to
bagel
try these
is-
bagels, okay?
There are too many choices. I'm getting confused.
The bagel itself.
What do you like?
We can make this a full hour show.
I know, right?
If you like, we have our Uncle Stevie is the
Okay, I'll let
7.
you get that for her. For now, go visit Uncle Stevie's Bagels in El
Gruyere.
Segundo and check them out online at UncleStevie'sBagels.com. My goodness, I'm
I
sure
made
you
a
guys
decision.
sell out every. That is delicious. Thank you, Tom
Mushroom
and
Gruyere.
Tiffany, and
Mushroom
thank
Gruyere.
you, Uncle Stevie,
Thank
for
you.
those bagels. So delicious. We'll be right back.
Oh, nice and
So
crispy. We'll be coming by.
Okay.
I live in PB.
Welcome back. Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference continues today after the tech giant unveiled the next software update for its devices. The company's biggest announcement, Liquid Glass, offering users a new interface design. Apple claims it will put more focus on content immersion.
Liquid glass is translucent and behaves just like glass in the real world. Its color is informed by your content and intelligently adapts between light and dark environments.
The liquid glass design applies to icons and widgets as well, improving overall aesthetics. Apple also announced upgrades to messages, allowing users to add backgrounds and even polls to group chats. Oh boy. The phone app will also now automatically screen calls from unknown numbers. And on the AI front, Apple is adding live translation and more closely integrated support for ChatGPT. The new software is expected to be released in September.
If only the next iOS update could help parents with real-world situations like this. You know, the kids are screaming, the house is a mess, the cat sounds like, I don't know, he's coughing up a fur ball on the sofa, and your partner is going on and on about something. Sound familiar? How much would you pay for a little bit of peace and quiet? Well, a new survey finds the average American would pay more than $2,500 for a day without chaos.
Wow.
The average parent would pay even more, just a little past $3,600. The survey was conducted on behalf of Apple Vacations, and when asked how often they would get free time, it averaged out to 9.5 hours a month. So in a month.
So that's a lot.
You think so?
Yeah.
The biggest barriers are family and work obligations, of course, along with financial limitations. Meanwhile, 2/3 agree that, visiting family, it does not count as a restful vacation. That is true.
Yeah, but it's still fun nonetheless to get out of your comfort, your little bubble you're always living in.
Yeah,
Just
but
a change of scenery.
Yeah, but it's work.
Yeah, for sure. It's not restful.
No,
it's not peace
no.
and quiet, that's for sure. So
another topic as a parent you deal with or will deal with is how much control do you think kids should have over who gets invited to their birthday party?
Oh,
this is a big
that
one.
is always tricky. Mom writes for Scary Mommy's advice column, trying to get to the bottom of this. So she asked for advice after her 11-year-old child, who gets overwhelmed by large parties, refused to invite the child of a mom she's friends with. Mom says she feels torn between honoring her child's wishes and avoiding awkwardness, though, with the other mom friends. She wondered if she should teach their child to bite the bullet or let them set their own social boundaries. Scary Mommy wrote back saying birthday invitation discomfort is something that follows us throughout our whole lives, so it's best to have kids learn early. She also says it's a good time for mom to remind her child about friends who have consistently invited them to their parties in the recent past. Kids who may have ruined parties in the past, or kids that might feel left out if not invited, all the factors that you think about when making an invite list, right? You just went through this. So yeah, it's never fun. And
if I'm really good friends with one of the moms, it's tricky because, you know, you kind of feel this pressure too, and then the kids aren't that close.
Right, that's the thing.
But I had to do it.
You had to bite the bullet. Well,
it was polite. It was awkward if I didn't.
Right, but it's also a number of head count, you know, cost. Like it depends on the venue or what kind of party. It might be limited to, you know, certain
For
number
me,
of
it's
people.
always about being more inclusive. I'd rather invite more people.
Right, sure.
More people than
If you
fewer.
can.
But this time around, it was limited to space, and so the
Right.
parameter was who do you consistently play with, have an engagement with consistently, and then we had to factor in who were you recently invited to whose birthday, because that would have been rude. And then people I was friends with. So that was like the parameter.
Because mom has to have a good time too. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you got to
it's
think
true.
about it.
It kind of gets political though.
It really does.
It does.
At 10 years old.
Yeah, not even.
I know.
All right, coming up at 10, a dog sitter fails to follow the instructions left by the owner.
Wait until you see what that owner came home to find. Plus, we're talking about the deep, dark confessions from some moms about how they really feel about summer break and summer vacation.
And talk about getting shell-shocked. One woman who bought a bag of seashells, brought home, a bag of seashells from the beach, brought back, oh no, so much more. Did you see that?
Crabs, little crabs.
Oh, the bagel? Yes, back to eating.
Oh, yes. Good bagels. Uncle Stevie's.
Mushroom bagel.
That's a really good one.
It's like a pizza.
With cheese.